Hey guys, Tony here. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're fresh off the back of the giant 2W Gravity Enduro on the weekend, and while I was out there a few guys asked me some questions about my bike, so I thought I'd make a short video about my bike and what I've put on it. It's not a review, I'm not a pro rider. To be fair, I probably am the target market that these guys are trying to sell their bikes to, i.e. past my peak performance, i.e. over the hill a little. So I've got Scott Ransom. The reason for the Ransom is when I went to e-bike, I wanted an enduro bike. There's a couple of specific things that I really wanted. Long travel, so 170mm plus. Never heard of anyone complaining that they've got too much suspension on their bike. And because of my riding ability, I want all the help I can get. I wanted to be able to run a range extender. Again, going relatively long rides, don't have to worry about range anxiety and all of those things. I wanted a Bosch motor, so I did test all of the motors, well, the most common motors, and I was the most comfortable and happy with Bosch. I wanted to be able to run a coil. I'm all about stability and predictability, and to me a coil gives me this. And I wanted to be able to run mullet. I like the steeper shooty stuff, not all the time, but I do enjoy riding it. And as I say, business up front, party out the back. As long as I get my front wheel where I need it to be, I pretty much forget about the rear, and it also gives me a little bit more butt clearance for when it gets really steep. So I guess the best thing is to start at the front and I'll work my way back. The only factory components on this now is the frame, the battery and the motor. Everything else I've changed out. So starting at the front, tyres, Minion DHFs. I'll be honest, I would run Magic Marys if money wasn't an object. Love them, heaps of grip. I just find they wear out way too fast for me. So on DT Swiss Free Ride 560 rims, so the reason for that is pure strength. I've dented and bent some rims. I'm not interested in weight savings. Face it, I weigh far more than my bike and all of its parts, so not too stressed about that. Laced up with e-bike specific spokes, and they're laced on to a spank hub. The only reason that I've got a spank hub on the front is because I'm running the Magura MT7 brakes with the 220 rotor, and I wanted them 6-bolt. So as mentioned, Magura MT7 brakes, fantastic brakes. I come from a motorbike background. I like the feel and the modulation and the power of them. They remind me of a motorbike. Downside is they can be noisy, particularly if you watch some of my last videos. I've just changed to race pads because we're in the dry season and race season. They seem to take ages to bed in. You're looking at 6 or 8 rides to get them for that noise to sort of fade away. Fox 38s, 180mm travel. Can't say much about that. In my opinion, one of the best forks you can get. If you know anything about mountain and read any reviews, you'll know that they're a pretty solid fork. Stem, I run Bootec stem. I just go for the shortest stem I can possibly get away with, which is what I'm running here. Bootec bars, aluminium bars. I do have some carbon bars, but I feel more comfortable with aluminium. Again, I'm not interested in weight savings. They are 800 wide, which is too wide for me. I would probably prefer 780. I just haven't cut them down, and the reason for that was I was in a rush to go for a ride. I called into the shop, I brought them and put them on my bike in the shop, and we just didn't have time to cut them down, and I've been too lazy to do it myself. Run lizard skin grips. So grips I'm sort of quite particular with. I like the softest, tackiest ones I can use. Yes, they do wear out quicker. I don't mind that, so that's one thing I don't mind replacing is my grips. And I'm specific about my gloves. I like really thin gloves with rubber grip on the inside. It just allows me to hold on less, with less force onto my grip, so I can relax a little bit on long descents, and it helps with arm pump, or not getting arm pump. Shifting. Shifting is done via the SRAM AXS. It is GX. There was no XO in the country at the time. Again, COVID supply issues. I don't know. I haven't run the XO, but I can't imagine it would be that much better because this is fantastic. Super easy to set up, obviously no cables and no maintenance to worry about. Adjusting's really a minimal of it all, to be honest. Yes, people go, oh, you got to charge a battery, rah. What do you not charge these days? You're literally charging something every day of your life. Battery life's really good for me. Ride twice a week, get 6 to 8 weeks out of it per charge. It does go, I think, orange, which gives you like 5 hours riding left, and red on a little LED light, which means you need to charge it. To be fair, I keep the charger in my car. If I'm putting my bike on and I see that it's orange, I just charge it on my way to my ride. It seems to charge really quickly, so it's never been an issue for me. I do that. I don't really like taking it off and charging it at home, because the biggest fear is leaving my battery at home. That would be a real bugger. Kiosk display, running the kiosk display, so the main reason for that was running the piggyback battery. It gives me a readout of both batteries, the one in the tube and the range extender, the 500 watt hour one. So 500 watt hours in there, 625 in the tube, give me 1125 overall. We covered off drilling holes in your frame. I'm comfortable with that. So rear shock, DHX, it would be a DHX2 if they were available at the time. They weren't. And saying that, this one performs great. I run the Spring Dex spring in it. It is progressive and also adjustable, so I can adjust my spring weight rate. Reason for that is I change it whether I'm running my extender or not. My extender is probably around 3.5 kilos, and I can feel the difference, so I can quickly adjust it on here. Cranks, running race face, 160 cranks, it comes out 165, shorten them up a little bit, try and mitigate some of those pedal strikes, which it seems to works really well. Hardly ever get any pedal strikes, and the little bit of efficiency that you lose, let's face it, we're on an e-bike, I don't notice it. Pedals, run flat pedals, Diety. I do have clipless, but these days I hardly ever use them. I use them more for cross-country sort of stuff, which I don't really do anymore. So yeah, happy with the flats. Orange just simply to match my hand grips, no other reason. Saddle, for whatever reason I've had real bad luck with saddles. I seem to break and bend them. This one I'm running a Specialized Mimic bridge, really good. It's lasted really well. It's got a nice shape, it's comfortable, and a low profile. Only hassle is it does tend to squeak a little bit, but small price to pay. Fox dropper, no real tangible reason other than it looks cool. Probably could have kept the factory one. I do have it a little lower than what would be ideal. Again, I'm not after maximum pedaling efficiency. I'm not into cross country. I am on an e-bike. My preference is to get the seat well out of my way and descending, so I have it as low as I can. Now my drivetrain's a little bit of a wild child. I'm running a XT Shimano cassette. They seem to last well, and they're a lot cheaper than the SRAM alternative. Running XT chain at the moment. I do have an XO that sometimes I swap it with, swap them around, 500 Ks each, and I don't notice any difference. Chainring is SRAM, and derailleur we've been over is SRAM Axis. So mix and matching seems to work. I don't know, there's probably a really small negligible difference with meshing, but not that I notice. I get longevity, it shifts fine, so I'm happy with it, paying less for the cassettes. Rear wheel, as mentioned, mullet, so 27.5, same as up front, as in DT Swiss FR 560, again after maximum strength, again laced to the Spank hub. Spank hub I found value for money really good, engagement, everything's fine. I have blown out some rear hubs in the past, so again that was the reason for the change, as well as the 6-bolt for the rotor. Running the 220mm rotor on the rear as well, probably an overkill, but for the size of me, I need all the stopping help I can get. Running cush core as well in the rear, and tubeless, obviously. but not running a crush core in the front, not really seeing the reason for it. I tend to damage the rears, not the fronts. So that's my bike. It works for what I want it to do, and I'm happy with it, and I guess that's the main thing. But anyway, thanks for watching.